This is a transposition of race identity look, right? Angelic humans look much more actually angelic. We're much taller. We actually have 6 appendages, 2 thumbs, an extra toe, and we're much taller and more fine-boned and that kind of thing. We come in all colors, right? All the skin colors, they were all, created there to be first. There are people that were much more reptilian, that were in on the bioregenesis or helping the DNA to get its ascension codes back projects. So now you have like people that are part human and part reptilian, part human, part Anunnaki, part human, part draconian. Oh, it's just like Club Universe here, and that's okay if we weren't all fighting and trying to kill each other. Because if you look at what is happening, what has been happening, our history on this planet, even the part we know, everybody's been trying to kill everybody else to get the land out from under them, or to take control of their power and disempower them. It's been horrible. And this has been about race groups that hated each other, right? Okay, so you have 6 different races that are coming in for bioregenesis, and if you take them back to their home stations, wherever their ET places are that they're from, they hate each other. This one hates that one, and that one hates this one. Oh boy. And the agreement is nobody's going to hate each other. We're all going to be nice. We're all going to do the Christic thing here and learn to heal and let that go. And we're going to get our gene codes back. Yes, that's a good thought. Didn't work that easy because the others raided. As soon as some of their own that defected and came to get the healing of the gene codes, the parent races they came out of started coming in and messing with them and trying to get the human gene codes because the human gene codes are priceless. They had the Diamond Sun DNA, minimum 12 strand. Some of them had up to 48 strands, but they didn't see those very often on the planet. So it has been a fiasco down here, but the Earth allowed this to happen. The Earth, as a being, allowed as long as time as possible. It allowed itself to be pulled into fall, but it will take the path of Kali Rama step back. It will not let itself be used and taken as food into the black hole system. So Earth is cooperating with us. So we're at an amazing point, is what all this is about, an amazing point in human history, but also in galactic history. And the decisions we make now, still, even though there's these huge influences that do interrupt our free use of all of our abilities to do whatever the heck we want and manifest anything we want. Yeah, we're dealing with a planetary field here that's a lot stronger than our individual fields are. So we have free will within the parameters of the framework we're in. But there are still choices we can make. We can still choose which path we want to be on and take the steps that are a part of that path. There are things to do if you don't want your DNA to go 55 Metatronic in December of 2012. They're not that hard. There are some things you need to learn. There are some things you need to learn to do with your light body. You need to know what the hell a light body is. You need to know some of these structures. Yeah, you don't have to know every part and label every part. There's not a test at the end of it as far as, regurgitate the information. It's about getting the activations, getting your body healed enough to support your decision of the path you want to be on.
It's like heart-wrenching because they think they're evolved spiritual beings, and maybe they were at one time or whatever,
right,
or in other dimensions they are, but you could just see that they've got no clue what they're dealing with.
This is how Atlantis got to be what it was. It's that clueless naivety with a touch of arrogance added.
Yes.
That it's a lethal combination.
You would think those would be an oxymoron.
Yeah, you would think. Yeah, like they should repel like oil and water.
How could one happen with the other simultaneously? But actually, it does.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think you know it all.
I mean, spiritual arrogance is a fascinating topic. That it's like a disease that goes throughout the community, and it's created a lot of problems with humans in between personal relationships, et cetera, and it comes in the strangest of guises. In other words, sometimes it looks like humility, but it's not. That's some of the most sort of insidious aspects of it. When it looks oh my God, they're so humble and they're so sweet and this and that, and like they're the most diabolical character, and yet they don't even know it. Yeah. This is where, and so you almost, it's funny because you can't get mad at them because they don't realize what they're doing. Mm-hmm. At least that's been my dilemma, with some of these people, and I my heart goes out to them because there's a being there who thinks they're doing the good thing.
And probably more than one.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Well, the other ones don't think they're doing the good thing. They know they're not, but they're doing a good job. Anyway.
Is it plugged in?
Yeah, I'm good here. We're all hooked up. Okay, so let's begin again.
All right, we're on to a part now. We were talking about the distortions in the planetary grids. I'll put this on just to start that sequence, actually. This is just a little, both pictures put in one, where it shows the natural plane of a solar system the way it should be with the solar symbiosis, and it shows the twisted mess that our solar system is in, and up here shows the twisted mess that our planet is in as far as the grids and those things. Now, this information is built on understanding the base structures of what the planes are supposed to look like. We talked about the larger structures that were maps of the cosmos that showed the interactive gate maps built on the Cathara grid and all of that. We worked our way down through the probability structures and the galaxy and everything, got down to here. The next thing we're going to look at that's key to where, not only where we are, but where we're going, is part of the structures that have to do with the Earth planes themselves. If you take one stellar body, be it the sun or a star or the Earth, there's a set of organic planes that are created, and they are based on, the next one, they're based on a template that looks like this. Now again, we're talking spheres within spheres as opposed to just flat things right on two-dimensional paper. This is called a Partiki body template, or a Partiki body. It is the dark matter body. This is the part that science plays with the idea of dark matter because they can see something creating an effect, but there's nothing that's here in matter that is creating that effect, so they call the matter that you can't see that's obviously affecting that the dark matter. There is actually a substance that is called dark matter. It differs in certain qualities from the matter that you can see, and there are templates built on it. They occur in a certain stage of the creation process, and they're all interconnected with the other structures we've seen. The dark matter template is actually the elemental command template. It is where things like atoms actually first start and where they're actually manufactured before they come into materialized form. And there is in the natural organic structures, the dark matter template has what are called 15 gelesic rings. They're called hydrogelesic rings. So you've got the rings are the spaces between the lines, and the bands in between the gelesic rings are called crystal spans. Or it depends on what level. Are these spans or rings or what? Because we got rings and spans and a different level of manifestation. They're called shields and fields. So you can think of it in terms of the fields of the rings and the shields of the crystal structures around them. This template becomes important in understanding when a materialized body, such as the planet, because this would be the point that would correspond to the planet's core, and there would be certain dynamics in that core of the template that would materialize in atoms and in atomic structure as the core of the physical planet. The core has what is called a prana seed in it, and we had this whole long series of graphs explaining how it got there, how that grows and becomes what the template becomes what it is, and the purpose of the prana seed. The prana seed is supposed to open and close and spark when it does, which generates quantum, but also allows a direct flow of living energy between the dark matter template and the light body, spirit body, and atomic body structure, and that flow keeps the circulation going. When something goes wrong with the prana seed and it is forced to close, it actually locks up, and that blocks the flow of energy into the dark matter template, and that starts what's called the Bardo process, or the death process, where ring by ring of the matter starts to pull away from the dark matter template, which means it starts to lose its core form-holding blueprint. Now, the sun has just gone through that on the 25th of March of 2007. And so it's in the process of having its rings pull away. The rings start pulling away from the inside, going outward. And I forget what ring we're on now, ring 3 or something like that. Yeah, something. 2022 is ring 15, and that finally pulls. There is a gamma burst that comes from the core every time a ring fully releases. So far, they haven't done anything where, solar flaring or anything. That could change. When it comes to a planet, this becomes very interesting because in this template, and we'll see what it looks like in relation to the planet in a minute, but in this template, those 15 gelesic rings are broken up into, or form into sets of 3, and each one of those is considered a plane. All right, so there are 5 planes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, in this 15 ring structure. Right? And each of the planes has 3 gelesic rings to it. This becomes important when we start to look at planet structure. When we look at the planet, and if you took a cross-section, you have the core of the planet, then you have the mantle levels, and you have the crust, then you have the atmosphere, and all the stuff that goes up to the magnetosphere. Right? This template is actually the key to understanding what is where. And there's some very interesting facts that go with each of these gelesic areas, because certain areas have certain characteristics, not only of matter, like certain areas are liquid. That's why we have like liquid core. There are certain bands, number 4, 5, and 6, will actually be liquid aquifers. They're called aquifers. And when we see this in relation to the planet, we're looking at just one dimensional level of one now. Each dimension, for example, a 3-dimensional planet like Earth, it actually has dimension 1, dimension 2, dimension 3, and what is called its density template, or its density body, which would be the catheric level. So there's actually 4 levels. It would be 4 embedded templates. If you take 1 and then times it by 2, that would be the next size, times it by 2, the next size. It shows you all these overlapping rings, and in those, it actually gives you a map. If you take a cross-section of it, it gives you a map from the core going all the way up into the atmosphere of what is where, what energies it's composed of, and what doorways exist where, because there are pass-throughs that exist in certain parts of this. There also gives you, once you have the base structure of that, and you're on a planet that has mutations like this one does, with the twisted, the axis is twisted, the Merkaba fields are all a mess, that will show in the template, in the light and matter body template that forms, where the natural structures will have impediments in them that shouldn't be there, such as the net fields that we've talked about. So there are when we see this in terms of the planet, you'll see this structure, but times 4, where there'll be 4 of these, one, the next one bigger, the next one bigger, and there's times 2, till we have 4 of them together, and that will give the planetary template of the planes. So in one dimensional level, you have the 15 layers, or 15 rings, and which make up 5 planes. So if you have 5 times 4, that's 20 planes. You'll have 20 planes in one density level of a planetary system. This becomes important because in certain areas in between these planes, there are platforms of consciousness that can be activated and are being activated that will allow for safe zone spaces. So eventually those places will actually open, and there will be an interface of planes between here and the hosting systems that we're going into, where eventually we will be able to walk through certain grids, and if your DNA is keyed to it, you will be able to see the other reality field and literally walk out of this one and into that one. And that is what we're aiming for.